Well, for more, we can bring in our Brussels correspondent, Dave Keating. Now, this loan has been approved, these sanctions too. Why is this all happening now, Dave?
Well, you might think it's happening now because Orban was voted out of power a week and a half ago in that Hungarian election, and the incoming Prime Minister, Peter Magyar, had said that he would relinquish this veto that Orban had been holding against the dispersal of the 90 billion euro loan to Ukraine. However, that's not why this is happening now, because Orban's government is still in power. There's still a transition period, and so it is Orban's people that are in the Hungarian seat still in the EU. So why has Orban relinquished his veto today? That's because oil started flowing again today through the Druzhba pipeline. That was the center of this dispute. Orban had, in theory, signed off on this loan back in December, as long as Hungary, Czechia, and Slovakia didn't have to pay into it. But then he changed his mind 2 months ago because he was accusing Ukraine of having purposefully sabotaged this pipeline that delivers Russian oil to Hungary via Ukraine. Ukraine said that the pipeline had been damaged by Russian attacks and needed to be fixed. The Hungarians didn't believe that, but now we're told oil is flowing as we speak through that pipeline, that the fixes have been made. Now, during this whole dispute, the European Commission had sent inspectors over to Ukraine to look at that pipeline. As far as I'm aware, those inspectors actually never were able to get to the pipeline. So it's all a little unclear why is the oil flowing today and not earlier. But in any event, Hungary's Viktor Orban's government is sticking to its word here that if the oil flows, they will relinquish that veto. One possible final hurdle, so they have had EU officials have just signed off on this. So Hungarian officials have just signed off on this just now. However, it still needs to be confirmed by EU prime ministers and presidents who are meeting for a summit tomorrow in Cyprus. It's still a little unclear whether Orban is going to show up to that. That would be his last EU summit, unless he comes back into power. And so who knows? Maybe there could be some last-minute theatrics here. But even if he pulled some last-minute theatrics, it would be pointless because it is just a matter of days or weeks until the government of Hungary switches and Peter Magyar will relinquish that veto anyway.
Now, as you say, Viktor Orban is gone, or at least imminently gone. But the issue of the veto remains, doesn't it? Just like we see at the United Nations, vetoes really can prevent member countries from taking action for months, even years.
Yeah, most decision-making here in the European Council, where I am, that's the body that represents the national governments, most of that is taken by qualified majority voting, where each country has a weighted vote based on their population. But there are two areas that need unanimity: foreign policy and taxation. And that foreign policy bit has proven really troublesome because Viktor Orban kept vetoing anything to do with Ukraine. So accession, support, sanctions against Russia. And so that has prompted calls to end this veto system, to extend that majority voting system to all areas of policy, including foreign policy and taxation. There's been some fear here in Brussels that now that Orban is gone, people are going to say, okay, problem solved, everything's fine now. But voices here are saying you can't. A new Orban could come at any moment. And in fact, we've just had a pro-Russian prime minister elected in Bulgaria this past Sunday. It's not clear that he would try to fulfill Orban's spoiler role and start vetoing himself. But the risk is you can always get this happening today. Again, Russia can get to any one member of that European Council. So Ursula von der Leyen actually last week, while welcoming the result in Hungary, said that shouldn't take our eyes off the prize here, that really we do need to have a reform that would end this unanimity system that enables just one country to veto any foreign policy action by the European Union.
Dave Keating reporting live there from Brussels.